everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Gamma Ray Podcast. I'm Tim, alongside Justin.
How's it going, everybody?
Okay, guys, and this week we are discussing the infamous world of the vampire.
Ooh.
I know. Well, there's a lot of stuff about vampires, man, that I think people get mixed up.
Yeah, I mean, and there is a ton of lore on them too.
Dude, there's so much. There's so much, guys, that this is going to end up being a 2-part episode.
Oh, for sure. Dude.
And
there's no way.
Probably done 3 or 4 or probably more if we really wanted to, but we don't really want to.
No, we got other things we want to get to.
So. 2 is enough. And so, they're not super, glistening in the sun like you see nowadays,
No, they don't start.
But some of the stuff you see in movies is historical, and I think that's
definitely.
It gets a little muttered, you know what I mean, if you will. Wait, that's not a real word. Muddled.
I was just gonna let it pass, honestly. I wasn't planning
I got stuck for a second, man. I'm not gonna lie. I got stuck on fucking retarded for a second. The word vampire, right? I think, as we always do, I think it's always good to go into what is the thing that we're talking about, right? What is the thing that you're listening to? So it's known as a vampire, right? Or a vampire, which I actually like better.
Yeah, the vampire is more like the older way.
Yeah.
And all they did was trade out the Y for the I. So.
It sounds more sinister.
Yeah, the vampire.
Yeah, it sounds more sinister, and I like it. I think because of that, I like it more. I mean, it showed up in the Old English language in 1732, which is a hell of a long time ago.
Oh, definitely.
Right. And the myth surrounding vampires is that they're part of the undead, which is dead, right? But it's also an animated supernatural force that walks the earth and prowls the living, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot better than being the zombie,
If I had to choose of which undead I wanted to be, I think vampire is the way to go.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No doubt about that.
I don't know. I mean, unless it's like in Blade 2, when they got like the fucking vagina face that opens up and it's like all fucked up.
Like the xenomorph mouth?
It's not even, it was like a predator mouth.
Almost. Yeah, sorry, predator mouth. My bad.
You know what I mean? And I hated it. I hated it so much.
I don't understand why they.
It's hard to find a good vampire movie. It's impossible to find a good vampire show. I mean,
you might as well just forget about that.
I don't think they exist. I mean, the one I actually liked the most though was probably oh my god, I can't remember the name of it now. They were like roommates. It was like a vampire, a ghost, and a werewolf. Being human.
Oh yeah, human. Yeah, I was about to say
that was pretty good. That was pretty good. But that's also had the dude that played Star Killer from all the Star Wars games. Like he was mocap.
Oh, was that him? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, he mocapped him and he did the voice and stuff. So that's kind of, I think, why I liked him a little bit already.
Yeah, I didn't. I could see it now.
Yeah,
I can see it now. I just didn't make the connection.
I mean, the vampire has been a part of folklore and the works of fiction of tons of cultures for hundreds of years.
Oh yeah, longer.
Yeah, it's longer, but I mean, like the mostly European version.
Yeah, true.
Well, we'll say the last couple hundred years. Even though the belief, definitely has waned over the centuries, right? Like any story like that, the belief is going to go down and down and down, where you're not going to believe in much of anything like that. Especially
I mean, that's just what happens.
If anything supernatural like that, people already are like, come on.
Well, especially, once everyone started becoming more educated, where it wasn't just the top echelons of society that were able to read. A lot of these superstitions start to fall off.
Right.
You still can't find these kind of things in like the backcountry towns, especially in like Germany and Europe and all that.
Yeah.
It's like in those kind of towns, they're still real superstitious.
Are they still having reports of that, you think?
Sorry, what was that?
Are they still having reports?
I don't know.
No,
I didn't think to check on that. To be honest with
wealth of information. All right, they are depicted as often having like large fangs, your typical run of the mill pale complexion, fucking ghostly white.
Yeah.
Some are like really grotesque looking, and then you have the others that are the absolutely beautiful, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise vampires from fucking Interview with a Vampire. You know what I mean?
Which I
If-
thought was actually a pretty good movie too.
it's a good movie. I do like it. I can't talk shit. I didn't like Queen of the Damned at all.
No,
I mean, it was okay.
I know
I
they're
wouldn't say I
part of the
hated
same universe, but
Well, it's Lestat, yeah.
Yeah.
Both. But I didn't like it. I mean, it's a hard. I'm on the fence with it. I didn't really care for it, but I didn't hate it.
yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't watch it if it was on. I wouldn't.
yeah, I
watch it.
mean, I watched it a lot back in the day, but now I won't. Back
Right.
before you had Netflix and everything, when you had if you bought a movie, you watch.
It came in the fucking mail. But I mean, so like, and they prey on humans, right? By consuming their
Yep.
blood or their psychic energy, which is also your run-of-the-mill story.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty basic.
something everybody's gonna know. Everybody's gonna know about that. They're stated to rise nightly from the graves or coffins. They fucking hunt the living. And the weird thing that I didn't really know, and I've never really heard this before, but their coffin allegedly has to be filled with the dirt from their native land.
Yeah, that is a old.
I never heard
Tradition
that before.
of
I never
them.
heard that before. That one I was surprised by.
Yeah, that's like an old story about them
Yeah.
back before they started like morphing into the more where everyone kind of knows about them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it was that way. Like kind of the only way they were able to leave,
Right.
to travel.
Right. And they're not allowed to walk on consecrated ground, like a church or a temple or something.
Which makes sense because
I don't know if they're. Well, I don't know, because you don't really know what the hell turned them. How do you know it's something evil?
well,
I guess because they're killing people. Is that
well,
what it is?
the whole thing is that like they're supposed to be like part of the devil's conspiracy or whatever. But even that, I think that particular one, when it comes to the consecrated ground,
Right.
that comes from the Jewish lore of Judas,
Oh, okay.
because when he betrayed Jesus,
He turned into the first vampire.
yeah, that
After
yeah.
he was hung. I think he was hung.
Pretty
Pretty sure he was
honestly, I
hung.
don't remember what happened to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was like that. And then part of the reason why like there's some legends where they can't take silver is because like his story of
Yes.
like the 30 coins or whatever he took.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty common one too, the silver.
Mhm.
A couple of the most commonly known myths about vampires is that they're unable to cast a reflection or a shadow, which I don't get why that would be.
Yeah,
I'm
even
not
with
quite
them,
sure what that has to do with being undead.
that's definitely the most common. But there are stories of them having reflections and shadows and everything, but they're not nearly as
Yeah.
talked about. I can't remember the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. And they're not allowed to come into your home without an invitation. That's another big one.
Yeah, that's
Right,
an
but
old. Yeah, that's
What you don't want to do is give them the invitation, because if you do, that's it. They can come and go as they please.
whenever
Which I
they
think,
feel like.
and I'm gonna I think I'm gonna be referencing a lot of movies in this one. But did you see the remake of Fright Night with Colin Farrell,
Yeah, yeah,
the kid that was Chekhov in Star Trek?
yeah.
That's dead now. And like, there was a cool part where like he wanted a 6-pack of beer, Colin Farrell or whatever, and he like
Oh yeah, he
expected
came
him,
over.
and he tried to like hand it to him, but then he like pulled it back and he couldn't go any further because he wasn't invited into the house.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool. It was like a very subtle, like, kind of way to say, he's not allowed in without me saying.
yeah. I think, dude. I mean, like even in TV shows, I think even like this is what late '90s, but Buffy the Vampire Slayer had that same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where they
I never
couldn't
watched
come
it.
in.
I only saw the movie.
Oh yeah, I watched it.
I just couldn't get into any of those like WB shows.
No, they're kind of hard to get into.
Yeah, they're very hard to get into.
Sometimes, especially nowadays. Yeah.
Oof. Fuck.
But dude, some of the older myths about vampires, included like animal spirits in them. Right. So this,
Okay. All right. I'm all right. I'm being open-minded. Okay.
okay. Well, this is actually kind of a pretty stereotypical thing about vampires too, is that mainly the idea of it was that they were able to shapeshift into different animals.
Okay.
Right. Like obviously the most famous ones were a bat or a wolf.
That's what came to my head after I said that. I was like, oh yeah, they turn into fucking bats.
Yeah, and this, and even
The wolf thing though, you
into-
don't hear about a lot.
no, I always heard about the bats or like what was that called? Like fading into the shadows, kind of
Like mist. They turn into a mist. I
Yeah.
saw that before, but that's not really an animal spirit. But
No.
I never like the wolf thing is very like, isn't it a werewolf?
No, because they're a completely different
Like a wolf,
kind of
wolf.
creature. Yeah, like an actual wolf.
Not like a man wolf.
No.
Okay. I think it's important to be distinct because I'm like, wasn't that a fucking not a vampire, a fucking werewolf?
Yeah.
Something
No,
that
but
can
dude,
turn into a wolf.
This ability is still reported, like even modern day vampire stories where they're able to transform. Right.
You're right.
And of course, actually, this is one of the things too, like actually researching these, I always thought that the only way to become a vampire was to be bitten by one.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
you have
that's,
to
yeah, I didn't know there was another way.
Yeah, like you could either be bitten and fed their blood, right? So they got to make you drink their blood.
Okay. So they bite you and then they like, do the thing where you see it, like they bite their wrist or something.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, it's like they
Put it in
drain
your
you almost completely of blood and then they make you drink theirs.
okay. I mean, I've seen that before.
Yeah,
Well, not in real life, but I mean, I've seen it in movies.
Yeah, then of course, you turn into one of the creatures of the night, as it were,
Right.
But there's actually a bunch of different ways you could turn into one. One was sorcery, which I mean, after reading, I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Like-
a curse.
Yeah, a curse or something like
And
that.
I'm gonna do it
yeah.
again. I'm gonna do it again because I don't know if you've seen Dark Shadows, and if you haven't watched that movie, I actually really enjoy it. I might be in the minority on that.
Dark Shadows with like Johnny Depp.
With Johnny Depp,
Yeah, I've seen it.
he got turned into a vampire by sorcery.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
actually didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a witch. A witch did
Oh.
it. So I've seen that before too. I watch too much fucking movies, man.
Apparently.
God.
Like I've seen them, but I don't ever make these connections.
I just like I can't remember important shit at my job, but I can remember
A movie you watched
every
15
fucking movie I've
years
ever
ago.
seen.
Well, a couple of the other ways one was committing suicide, which for a religious community back in
Sure.
way back
Okay.
then, it would be
Yeah.
that would be a mortal sin. Yeah.
Right. I can get on board with that. Okay.
A kind of contagion.
Okay. Like a
Which-
virus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Fair enough.
I couldn't find anything that was like how the contagion did it. You know what I mean? They just I saw a bunch where it was just
like a
contagion.
parasite, maybe. kind of
Yeah,
thing?
something like that.
Okay.
And there's this is actually like the most unlikely of reasons right here, dude. Is that
Okay.
a cat jumped over a corpse? Yeah, I was like, well, that just
Stupid.
seems like, especially back in the day, that would
That's
happen
so
quite a bit.
stupid. That's so stupid. What? What? Okay. Whatever, man. I'm on the ride. At
Yeah.
this point, I'm on the
Like
ride.
I just feel like back then, that would happen quite a bit. Where just like cats are just jumping all over the damn place.
Well, I mean, they weren't exactly like up to date with cleaning up the dead bodies,
Oh, exactly.
like in the plague days, the fucking bodies were everywhere.
Yeah. Well, there was another thing too that was just like some of the things people back then believed in was like there's even people who believe that if a baby was born with teeth,
Which is weird.
which I mean, have you ever seen a picture with a baby with teeth?
No,
Like a
I don't
newborn?
want to.
Dude, they are freaky.
Yeah, I don't ever.
They look like serial killers, man. Look it up sometime.
Why have you ever seen it? Well, I would never want to see that picture.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. But dude, if they either were born with teeth or on Christmas.
Okay.
Well, more accurately, it was either between Christmas and this thing called the Epiphany, which I'm not sure.
I think there was another like religious holiday back in the day.
If you were born like that or around that time,
Right.
you were more likely to become a vampire.
Okay.
Which I mean, that just
Okay.
brings up the images of like people.
Wait a minute.
killing babies.
Wasn't one of your kids born like around Christmas time?
23rd. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Uh-oh.
Yeah, they were both born within like a week of Christmas.
Yeah. And
Either
she
direction.
sulks out of the corner in the darkness.
What she's done before is creepy as shit.
Yeah.
I have a closet
That's
that
really
connects 2 different rooms.
That's really scary, man.
And I woke up one night and she just materialized out of the darkness through the closet. The creepiest damn thing I've ever seen a kid do.
Oh my goodness. Did you stake her?
I thought about it.
Did you throw holy water in her face? Like, I mean,
it took me a second. It scared the shit out of me. Then I just realized she was dragging her blanket behind her.
oh my goodness.
Oh,
Oh, good. It's not the corpse of your mother.
yeah. Dude, there are actually people today who call themselves vampires.
Of course there are.
Yeah, like they identify as a vampire. As it were.
Okay.
But unlike like the previous ways of becoming vampire, like these, let's just call them misguided
Okay.
people.
Or I would say that's a fair word to use.
Well, they drink small bouts of blood and attempt to quote unquote stay healthy. Right. And they're
what is that going to do? I don't like.
nothing,
I know
because actually
doesn't
drinking
blood
human blood is very bad for you.
I thought it had like a lot of iron and stuff in it.
It does, but the problem is that that's part of the reason with like problem with cannibalism.
Yeah.
It's just it starts like deteriorating your fucking brain.
Oh, really? I just thought it was too delicious.
maybe that's the reason.
It's too good.
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
like the blood, for whatever reason, like human meat, it's fine. But if you have the blood in there with it, it's just all around bad for you.
I got you. Okay. It's too much for the system.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And some of these, like some of the versions, what's called like of the modern vampire, they don't feed on blood at all. They actually feed off of the energy of others.
Okay.
And can become agitated or even depressed if they didn't feed on like a regular basis.
Okay.
These ones are commonly referred to as psychic vampires.
So pussy vampires. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm
going to feed off your bad fucking feelings, your bad vibes.
No, it's like because I watched the documentary on.
Or is it like their life force kind of stuff?
No, it's nothing to do with that actually. According to the way they talk about it, we have like a field around us.
Oh, like an electromagnetic field.
Exactly.
Yes.
And true. These guys will like feed off that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And actually the weird part was
like weaken you, kind of like weaken your
no, actually not even anything like I don't think it does anything bad to like the quote like the victim.
And it's a victimless crime.
Yeah. Well, the weird part is they did it like a picture that showed like that little aura they were talking about.
Sure. The people have taken pictures of that
vampire. Yeah, like the vampire fed off that person. Then he took another picture and it was actually smaller.
Really?
But then again, there's
science, man. I tell you.
Yeah.
God bless them.
I don't know if
they're figuring everything
that
out.
might just be.
They're figuring it all out.
Yeah. Soon enough, it'll be, you can be a vampire for the weekend kind of thing.
I mean, I'd do it. I'd sign up for it. Why not? I mean,
as long as you don't go like Nosferatu vampire.
I mean, I got the ears for it. I got the big old giant ass ears.
Yeah, I'm right behind you.
Yeah, you are. But your head shape doesn't really
no, my head's
work in your favor. Yeah,
no, my head makes my ears seem.
It's an oblique spheroid. It's like the Earth.
Like I said, dude, like if you were able to be like a little bit like the Lestat kind of vampire, cool. But if you turn out to be one of those like grotesque looking ones, I don't know if that's. I think I'll just die. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ugly enough.
Yeah. I don't need anything more going against me.
I mean, I can only take so much. Like what if you can them? You're like, all right, you're gonna live forever, and you're gonna be like really powerful. You're gonna have all these supernatural abilities, but you're gonna be ugly as fuck. You're like, oh, dude, really?
Like,
Come on, man.
Can I get a couple days at least?
Like, really? If I turn a chick, are they gonna turn really ugly too?
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Because I saw
Yo, can I get
in the goddamn movies, these dudes are just slaying it out there.
Yeah.
And as a single man, I did it.
See, but the problem, what the thing is too, vampires do have magic.
Yeah.
You could do like a glamour kind of spell on yourself, make you trick them into thinking you're better looking than you really are.
Yeah. How often do you ever really see yourself, I guess,
Yeah. Oh, especially if you're a vampire, you can't see yourself anyways.
Yeah, it's not that you look at them. Yeah, good point. Would that work on a phone? Could you take a picture of yourself?
I don't know.
It's a good question.
I don't think everyone's,
I asked the hard-hitting questions. But yeah. I don't mean to pick it apart like I always do. Right?
Yeah.
Because I do like the idea that these things might be real. Right? So if they are, I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not cool that they're killing people if they are killing people, but it's cool that they it's real. It makes real life a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, let's see that what was that movie called? 30 Days?
30 Days of Night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an awesome one.
Yeah, where they were like fucking brutal, man.
Yeah. That's a really dope way to live your life.
Yeah. Just show up to a town.
If you're gonna be a fucking vampire, dude, I'm not saying like do all that. I'm just saying if you're gonna be a vampire, be a fucking vampire.
Oh yeah, go
embrace it.
100% and nothing at all, kind of.
Don't pussy out and eat rats and shit like you saw in that movie.
Yeah,
Interview with the Vampire. Don't eat rats. What's wrong with you?
No,
you live forever, dude. You can fucking fly and shit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did some other stuff. I don't remember. They were dancing on the ceiling like fucking Lionel Richie. You remember that? Where he went up in the bridge and he was dancing on the fucking top of the bridge. He was upside down. Motherfuckers.
Man, I gotta watch that movie again. It's been a really long time.
Yeah. It's a good. It's a good date night movie with your wife. It's all romantic.
She don't know good.
It's all romantic.
If it was made after like 1970, she don't watch it.
If it was made after 1970, how old's your wife? Jesus Christ. What do you mean? If it was
she's 35. Like, dude, some of her favorite movies are definitely like before the 90s.
Like Casablanca. I mean, yeah. How fucking old are we talking here?
Like,
Yep.
What's the name of that damn movie?
I don't know. You know.
Yeah, it doesn't. So well. Yeah, I know the movie. I can't remember the name of it right now.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to detect a vampire, right? And throughout the ages, there's been God knows how many
countless
different ways that people thought that they can do this kind of thing. Right? It kind of goes back to like the witchcraft episode a little bit, where I'm sure they just made shit up on the fly because they were so fucking afraid of it.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of this different, especially the more obscure ways, was just scared villagers.
I mean, make no mistake,
trying to come up with something.
People really this isn't just a work of fiction. People really believed in these things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
they 100% believed.
They believed that they were real. And they believed that they had to do certain fucking things to keep them away or to not turn into one, or they have their loved ones turn into one. So it was real. It was a real phenomenon.
Yeah, imagine that, dude. Back in the day, when that was a legitimate concern every time you went to sleep.
I hope a goddamn vampire doesn't get me.
Like a vampire, a werewolf, a ghost, the devil. Because your doors
are made out of twigs and shit.
Yeah,
the roof's made out of leaves.
Just like mud. The level of fear these people lived in on a daily basis.
Yeah, I feel like I live that now. Evidence that a vampire was in an active in a given area.
Yeah.
Included your kind of run of the mill signs, I suppose. Death of sheep, of cattle, people's relatives and neighbors are going fucking missing. And there's
it's because the some of the older stories would tell that the first thing a vampire would do is go after loved ones.
Yeah.
Like the first person to go would be like their wife or their husband.
Right.
Then they'd work their way through their family.
Hey. some of the older folkloric vampire stories though said that like a vampire could make his presence known by doing like ghost activity, like poltergeist activity, like being a fucking ghost. Like not only are you a vampire,
See,
not only are you a
haven't heard
werewolf
that.
apparently, but you're also a ghost.
He's so many different things at once.
It's like, yeah, it's like supernatural Super Saiyan. Like you got all the power. You could do anything you want. You know? And you know, it'd be your run of the mill shit though, like moving objects, throwing rocks, stuff you've always you heard of 1,000 times before with any kind of poltergeist activity. Or there was another thing too, which I think, experiencing it once in my life, I actually did have this. With sleep paralysis, it's like people felt like they were getting pressed on while they were sleeping.
Yeah, especially back then, dude, people just didn't understand medical science.
No, they didn't. But
so sleep paralysis would be like, because people always talk about
it's scary
like
now, dude.
Being demons or the devil or something like that.
Right.
Imagine a superstitious, uneducated peasant in the 1600s.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
I don't know if you've ever had it, and I hope you never do if you haven't. That shit's scary, man.
No, I've never had it.
You can't move. You are like fucking locked in, dude, and you're trying and you can't move. And it takes a couple minutes, and then your body's like, oh yeah.
By the way, I'm awake.
Yeah. Like, cause your brain wakes up before your limbs and shit. Dude, how is that even possible? I don't know. But
because your brain,
I know it happens.
Paralyzes you.
Yeah, that's true.
So you don't reenact your dreams.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So
powerful.
like if you run off a cliff in your dream, you don't get up and run into traffic while you're sleeping.
So like put like a hole like through your your wall.
Like jump out the window.
Like a fucking Looney Tunes character.
Yeah.
And there were many different rituals used to identify and like track a vampire. And one of the most obscure methods, oh my goodness, wait till you hear this, was to take a virgin boy through a fucking graveyard or church grounds, wherever people were buried, and I don't know how they knew this either, on a virgin stallion. How do you know the horse ain't getting laid? You don't know.
That's a very good question.
You're watching a horse all the time. How do you know?
They had a horse put in a stall just to detect vampires. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but a horse can get laid from like 38 feet. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Once the horse would like come on a grave though, like in question.
Yeah.
If it was the home of a vampire, the horse would kind of balk at it, like dude, like I think that's where it like kicks its hooves and stuff up.
Yeah, like rear and back and everything. Just kind of.
I think it starts like freaking out. The horse would balk at it, and the vampire would have at that point been located. Like, okay, this is the grave where the dude's at.
At least that's like, you could see the reasoning.
If it's
like
freaking
some
out
actual
the horse,
thought.
If it's freaking out the animal.
Like some thought actually went into that.
What's the virgin boy got to do with it?
Who knows? A virgin's part of almost everything. You need a virgin for everything nowadays.
Yeah, they doubled down on the virgin. It's fucking the kid. Well, okay, but
at least the kid would be all that hard.
Like the horse.
Yeah,
leave the horse alone. He's not doing nothing. Leave him alone. He's a fucking horse. Let him be a horse.
Yeah, but at least there was like some thought put into it, dude. So it wasn't like some bullshit like, oh, let's poke him with a stick, kind of shit.
Right.
Like they used to do back in the day.
Right. Yeah. It's so stupid. I don't know where they come up with this shit, man. And not only did it have to be a virgin, but it had to be a black horse. In most places, some places it had to be a white horse, which
is just super super specific at this point.
What's the fucking difference? It's a horse, right?
Yeah.
Also, though, holes would appear in the earth surrounding a grave. Like if that ever happened, like I don't know if the ground maybe collapsed a little bit. You know what I mean around it because I'm.
Or gopher hole.
They don't have they don't have like tractors fucking filling the holes back in. You know what I mean? They got dudes with spades throwing the fucking dirt in. That might happen.
Yeah.
Maybe a little air pocket or something.
A coffin broke, something like that, sank in.
Yeah, but that was taken to be a sign of a vampire, vampiric activity. That it was, if I had to guess, that was a sign of it coming out at night. Like it was climbing its way out.
Yeah, I mean, even then, you could still see okay, there's holes here. We think this is a vampire.
Yeah.
This has to be the vampire
Yes.
home.
Correct.
No.
Right. Exactly. So the act of digging it up, the bodies of the suspected vampires, was a practice done by like tons of different cultures throughout Europe. I mean, it's kind of one of those things I think that like spread, kind of like a rumor, like, hey, this is how you take care of fucking vampires, buddy.
Oh yeah, like it started in one town,
Yeah.
and then somebody went to the next town and just kind of.
Yeah. So like, you want to get rid of your vampires, pal? I know how to take care of that for you.
Yeah.
You dig up the fucking bodies. That's what you do. It's like, what? They're fucking vampires. Leave them down there. I don't want them up there. And the corpses thought to be like vampires, though, were described. They were looking, quote unquote, healthier, which, okay, than an expected corpse would look.
Yeah.
And they would be kind of plump, which bodies do that.
Yeah, from the gases.
Well, a little bit, yeah. And they show little, well, in this one, I don't know, though. They show little to no signs of decomposition, right? Which is really fucking weird. Like, if you open up a grave of a person you know has been dead for like 6 months and they're just, they look exactly the same.
Yeah, start running.
That's
at that point. That's a legitimate fucking vampire.
Something is happening. Something is happening that you really don't want to fucking be a part of.
No.
You really don't.
Whatever it is, it's not going to end well for you. So
no. Yeah, get the fuck out of Dodge immediately. I think it's just like the looking healthier part gets me. Wow, this corpse looks great.
Yeah. You telling me he's only two months dead? Damn.
God, man.
I would swear he died yesterday.
He looks like he's 38 years alive. Like, that shit is crazy. I mean, there were some accounts that, like, when a body was dug up, and I think you've kind of seen this before too, like when they bust open into the tomb or whatever.
Yeah.
That, the corpse would have fresh blood, like, dried onto its face, like especially around its mouth. And that was another sign, okay, this is a fucking vampire. We need to take care of it.
But, which would be the reason for that too, was that during the decomposition, all that built up pressure in the skin actually forced what blood was left out through the nose and the mouth, like all the orifices in the body. Yeah. So when they dug them up and they saw blood, they just didn't understand the body itself forced the blood out.
Yeah, but like the thing I don't understand is that like they had to have had like a dead body laying around for at least a little while somewhere, and to have seen some of this stuff happen, like, okay, this is what happens to a dead body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But instead, did they just like immediately bury the person like within like an hour? And they're like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? We got to get him in the ground.
Oh yeah, it's not like they were doing autopsies back in the day either. So.
No, but I mean, I'm sure he's on a slab somewhere. You know what I mean? Maybe they bring him somewhere.
No, they were probably left around long enough to get the hole dug.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really hold on to him for very long. You had to worry about disease and everything. So
that's true. Yeah, you did a lot more than you do now.
Yeah, like one sick person kill an entire.
Yeah, I don't think they were burying him 6 feet either.
No, I don't know when we started doing that, but 6 feet is pretty deep for.
It's pretty fucking deep. Yeah, good lord. So great though was the fear of vampires in this time that people were reduced to like opening it up and like staking the hearts of the dead before they were buried.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's some real fear.
But not only that, they would flip the fuckers over on their stomachs and bury them face down with their ass in the air so they can everybody can kiss it on the way down.
Imagine that.
So everybody imagine that, dude. Like,
you're at grandma's funeral and you just see your uncle walk over there with a stake and a hammer.
You'll thank me later.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't come back.
I hear it's the family they go after first.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, they would do that though, so they couldn't dig their way back up to the surface. You know what I mean? Like they couldn't crawl through the ground like you've seen in movies and shit. You know what I mean? Where the zombies or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's like the flipping them over was like would confuse them in a way, and they dig down and they'd never.
Yeah, I don't know what the thought was there.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, who
That'd be
really
like a
knows,
tight,
honestly?
like a tight coffin. You know,
Yeah, I mean, they weren't real
they couldn't
spacious
flip
back in the
over.
day, you know.
They couldn't flip over. They're a goddamn vampire. They can't flip over.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, if you think about it, like superhuman strength and
They're like,
everything.
oh wait, I'm on my stomach.
Yeah.
Let me flip over.
Yeah. Well, especially back then, dude, like it was never aristocrats.
No,
Kind of, it was always about peasants. Peasants were always the vampires, and
well,
peasants were also thought of being,
I think they were probably the more
stupid. So they,
likely people to think that they were, but a lot of the stories I've ever heard have been like the vampires are like the higher class people.
yeah, that's a more modern take.
Is that what that is?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like on our second episode of this,
Right.
we'll see where like the aristocratic vampire started showing up.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that was
Because that's
more
what
like,
I've ever seen, really.
yeah, that's because they're going off of like the Bram Stoker and stuff like that.
Ah, okay. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're not going off the old legends.
I got you. Okay.
But the vampire, I mean, he's had a lot of different incarnations throughout history. Depending on what culture you're referencing, of course, a lot of them have different. They're not always called a vampire because that's a relatively new word.
Sure. Well, I think it's English, Old English.
Yeah, it's like 1700. Yeah,
Old with an E.
17. Yeah,
That's how old that shit is.
But there are civilizations that way predate these things, and they all had their different a vampire-like creature, but they had a different name for him.
Okay, I mean, I can see that though. I mean, like
They
I
didn't
said, I
call
think a
him a
lot of
vampire.
these stories are like a rumor. Like you ever like that game of telephone? Like I think I've said this before, where like you tell one person a story and then they tell another person, and it goes.
Yeah, before you realize it's
spreads
not even
everywhere.
the same story.
And back in the day they had to do it, word of mouth.
Yeah, and it might be decades before you told the story again.
Right, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that some of these stories, reach Europe or reach Asia or reach Africa or
Yeah,
no,
not
like
at all. Especially once like colonization and everything started happening.
Right.
Dude, like for instance, the Egyptians had their fair share of like blood sucking and like vampiric kind of lore creatures, right?
Oh, okay.
And
of course they did. They got foods with bird heads and shit. I mean, of course they do.
But like in Egyptian, excuse me, in Egyptian tales,
yeah,
right, there's a goddess by the name of Sekhmet.
Sekhmet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was known for her taste for human blood.
Nice.
And
okay,
the funny thing actually about her was that I believe Ra sent her upon humans. They pissed him off. He wanted them gone.
Okay.
So he sets her on them and she's just killing everybody. She's drinking all their blood. She was so brutal and like ruthless. She changed his mind. And he had to trick her with like beer, like ancient beer.
Okay.
And get her so fucking drunk that she passed out and stopped, and like her blood rage dissipated.
Okay.
Like that's how the ruler of the Egyptian pantheon had to stop one of his gods. Because he just like go balls deep, and she fucking did.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, not that deep."
Whoa.
Like whoa. And he couldn't stop her.
Like, damn, bro, fucking take it easy.
Yeah. What are you doing? He's like, damn, I didn't mean for that.
You always take things too far.
Yeah. But actually, the funny part about it is that after that story, she actually becomes like a benevolent god.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Like Egyptians are weird with their gods, man. But anyways, but according to the Book of the Dead,
the Necronomicon Ex Mortis.
No, the Egyptian version.
Fuck. A lot cooler if it was.
Yeah. If a part of your soul, known as the Ka, Now the
Ka?
Egyptians, the Egyptians, I believe, had 7 different versions of the soul that all resided in one body.
Well, I think there's 7 chakras.
Is there? I don't really know. Chakras.
I saw that on a poster at like one of those
when I went to go get a massage.
One of those new age stores, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could buy like rocks.
Yeah, but the Egyptians had like a bunch of different parts of the soul. Some of them actually went to the underworld. Some stayed on. Some dissipated. Some stayed on Earth.
Okay.
It was all dependent on. Anyways, good enough. But if the Ka didn't receive enough offerings, or if they were inadequate to in some way,
is this like if like their family members and stuff were
cheap, essentially?
Okay, that's a good way.
Like if they didn't bury them with enough food, or if stuff like that.
Sure.
It would actually leave the tomb and set out to drink the blood of the living.
Well, that's what they get.
Yeah. You wanted to go cheap. Now I'm
being in serious trouble, man.
It took me half a second to realize you were talking about me there.
I would drink your fucking blood in a heartbeat, you cheap bastard.
Oh, come on, dude. Like a Home Depot crate.
I'm not gonna lie. I'd be cheap too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, he's dead.
Yeah. What's he care? Hmm?
Kick
me into a ditch. I'm fine. I promise you I don't care. What do I care what you do with my body after? But anyways, dude, even in like Chinese stories, dude,
right?
Vampires would have long hooked claws, and piercing red eyes.
Okay, that's
Like, you ever watch those old Chinese movies where they walked around like zombies? Like,
yeah,
terrible movies. Yeah, it was actually.
Oh, okay.
They walked around like, anyways. But in the Chinese vampire legends, though, man, they were also known as the Gong Shi. And
so
I apologize to anybody.
Should we? Because okay, we're not going to enunciate anything, right?
Anshi or something like that.
Sure.
I can't. Whatever,
sorry
if I'm mispronouncing it.
Whatever.
Which is, it's translated as corpse hopper. Which
okay. I like it.
I don't understand, but whatever.
Well, maybe it was like a thing where maybe it like jumped from body to body.
More like a spirit than a
like an essence more than a person.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Like that person.
That's the only thing I can think of. Why would it be called a hopper?
Dude, I mean, if you want to talk about old, man, I mean, there's myths about a vampire-like creature in Sumerian and Babylonian culture, and that dates back all the way to 4000 BC.
That's pretty old.
Yeah, like that's
pretty freaking
these
old.
Things have been around a long time, and they're also known as the Ekamu. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong too, but
Ekamu.
Yeah, Ekamu.
Okay.
I don't know. But it was a spirit that wasn't properly buried.
Mm-hmm.
It has to come back to suck the life of the living.
It's a pretty consistent trait.
Yeah. And you're talking about 4000 BC has the same kind of description as the 1700s.
Right.
You know, like
it's a pretty locked in kind of feature, I guess.
That part always stays the same. It's just a matter of how they go about it.
Right.
Changes from area to area.
Okay.
But even India, for instance, dude, has their own beliefs about vampire.
Dude, they got some crazy kind of shit though in their stories.
Oh, India? Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, man. Like those are actually really awesome stories. If you guys have not read any of their stories or looked into any of them, they're pretty fucking awesome.
A lot of their stuff is pretty dope, dude.
Yeah, it's like, pretty cool.
Isn't one of their legends too? Like their gods had a space battle.
Yeah,
which kind of reminds me of like
they were called Vimanas.
Yeah,
the ships,
and it was like reminds me a lot of like Aliens.
Yeah,
like if you talk about that, they could have seen aliens fighting in the
Yeah.
skies and just thought it was the gods.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened.
But these things were called the Vitalas,
Okay.
right? They were ghouls who inhabited corpses.
Oh, ghouls.
So it kind of has the same similarity with the Babylonian and Sumerians.
Yep.
No, sorry, the Chinese.
The
My bad.
Chinese. Yeah, the Chinese.
Chinese with the corpse hopper,
Right.
where a ghoul to me is almost like a zombie in a
I was
way.
just about to say that. Like every time
Like
I
a
think about a
smarter-
ghoul, yeah, like they're like a sentient
Zombie, yeah.
that doesn't decay. They never look like they're falling apart.
No, they're their own species.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah, they're pretty similar though. I think.
yeah. I think so in a lot of ways.
Right.
But to me, like when it says inhabited a corpse, that reminds me of like a little gnome like thing, like 4 inches tall.
Like
Jumps
ghoulies.
into it. Yeah. Where it like it jumps into something and it takes
Right.
over.
Like the one that was in the toilet that jumped in that dude's ass.
But dude, but lastly though, dude, in the 16th century Germany,
Okay.
which of course the Germans had to get in on this too. They
They're
can't
never
be
left out. They never are.
There's a evil story to be told.
Yep.
Germans are there. But they differed a little bit though from more of the familiar stories about the dead rising
Okay.
from the grave.
Sure.
Because in northern Germany, the superstitious villagers, they call the vampires, and I am going to destroy this word, the Nachsicher.
Yep.
I
nailed it. Nope, that's it. Don't even bother.
Or the After Devourers.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, that sounds like that's a pretty dope name.
That's a cool song title.
Yeah, that's a cool band name.
It is actually a cool band name.
That's a lot better than Corpse Hopper.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in Corpse Hopper.
But the difference between the Germanic vampires and the rest was that they never actually left their graves. But instead what they did is they gnawed on their burial shrouds.
Like the wrappings and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
The interesting part about that though is that their burial shroud would actually decay with the body.
Right, naturally.
Because like when the body started, like when it kind of like popped almost,
Yeah.
these things like would suck up the juice,
Right.
and then like start actually like falling apart.
Yeah, like fraying and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they dug them up, they'd see it and they were like, oh, this is, I'm not going to say they're one of the After Devourers.
Right. But man, that's loosely based on a vampire, I guess. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. They're undead, and
I was expecting from Germany, like, because Germany's got a lot of dark tales, man. Like, I was expecting more out of Germany, honestly.
I think we should
sound.
Expect more of a hope for less with Germany.
Yeah. The less is more approaches.
Yeah, we wish there was less. The whole world wishes there was less. Is that part one?
That is part one.
Man,
I think we're running out of time here, and we got a whole another probably hour.
At least another hour episode. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here I didn't know.
Yeah, when I was looking into this, I didn't think they went back as far as the Babylonian.
No. Well, I mean, only because of Queen of the Damned, because she was like Egyptian or something.
She was like super. Well, she was like the progenitor. Well, her and her husband.
Aaliyah.
I don't know.
I don't think she's alive anymore.
No, I think she died in a plane crash or something.
Yeah. And I mean, so but I also thought that was just for the movie. You know what I mean? So I didn't.
No, apparently that actually had at least some historical basis.
Yeah, somewhat
for going that far back.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, like
pretty good, man. Pretty good stuff.
Like, thinking on it now, though, I could see all the different cultures having their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, but You just don't think of it because they call them something completely different.
It's like an old school urban legend,
Yeah.
you know, like a really fucking old urban legend. And it spread just like one does.
Oh yeah.
You know, and now we have what we have now. It's worked its
Yeah,
way
then-
into our modern pop culture, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely did. Like in the next episode, we're going to go into how more of the modern take on vampires came to be.
Well,
lot of
and I think that's what
shit
most people are
happening
going to
there,
know.
too.
That's probably what most people are going to know.
Yeah, that's
know?
why I wanted, like, the first one, I wanted to get some of the more obscure stuff.
Well, I mean, it's good to have that background history.
True.
And so they're not just romantic.
No, I mean, it was
They were
long.
fucking brutal, some of these things.
Long before, like, the stories of Dracula and all that came out. These things were just barbaric in nature.
Which is the stories we want to hear.
Oh yeah, that's way better than hearing about.
Like I don't want to hear about like like, oh, I went out with this vampire and he treated me with respect and he was very kind and then he dropped me off at home. Nobody wants to hear that.
I had a lovely night.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear that fucking story.
No.
All right, I think we're rambling at this point.
Oh yeah, exactly,
guys. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook at Game Array Podcast. YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. I remembered this time again. We are uploading. We're currently working on uploading some of these videos. Having some issues with our software. That piece of shit.
Yeah, one of them doesn't want to go up for some reason.
It's free. I can't bitch that much. But we will have them up. We have a new one up. Reptilians is up.
Yeah, go check that one out. That was actually pretty fun to record.
Yeah, that was a nice episode, dude. I really enjoyed that one a lot, and I'm sure we'll revisit because there's a lot with them too.
Yeah, I mean the reptilians. We just touched on like the bare minimum, dude. It was just when they started coming around.
Yep.
And we barely got into like, are they controlling the government? What are
New
they
World
really
Order,
doing? Yeah.
Fucking the Dulcie base.
Yeah, we'll definitely need to go back to them at some point and get
the
more modern
we will
conspiracy theories about them.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week with part 2.
Yeah, see y'all later.
Bye.